A person's greatness is not determined by their circumstances. It is not defined by their past. And it is certainly not limited by what others think of them. A person's greatness is determined by one thing: their thoughts. This simple idea has shaped the lives of some of the most successful individuals in history. People who started with nothing, yet built everything. Think about it. How does someone go from failure to success? From poverty to wealth? From being ignored to being admired? Is it luck? Is it talent? Or is it something deeper, something invisible? Because if thoughts truly shape reality, then why do so many people remain stuck? Why do they struggle, doubt themselves, and never reach their true potential? Today, you're about to discover the answer. And not through theory, but through a simple story. A story so powerful, it has the ability to change how you see yourself forever. Great minds throughout history have believed in one universal truth: your thoughts create your future. Successful people don't just act differently. They think differently. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They see value where others see nothing. And most importantly, they see potential within themselves, even when the world does not. But here's the real question: can a simple change in thinking truly change a person's life? Let's find out. Once, in a busy railway station filled with noise, movement, and endless crowds, there lived a beggar. Every single day, he sat in the same corner, watching people rush past him, watching trains arrive and depart, watching life move forward, while he remained stuck. His clothes were worn out, his face carried the weight of struggle, and his eyes reflected a quiet resignation. This was his life. Every day he stretched out his hand, hoping someone would drop a coin. Some people ignored him. Some gave small change, with pity, but no one really saw him. To the world, he was just another beggar. And slowly, he began to believe it too. One day, something unusual happened. A man stepped onto the platform. He was different, well-dressed, confident, calm. There was something about him, something powerful. The beggar noticed him immediately. This man must be rich, he thought. If I ask him, he'll surely give me a lot. With hope in his heart, he walked toward the businessman and stretched out his hand. But instead of reaching into his pocket, the businessman looked at him and asked a question. A question that would change everything. Do you always just take from others? Or have you ever given something to anyone? The beggar froze. No one had ever asked him that before. Give? What could he possibly give? Confused, he replied, "Sir, I'm just a beggar. I survive by asking. I have nothing to give." The businessman smiled slightly, and then said something unexpected. "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you also have no right to ask." The beggar stood there, stunned. "I am a businessman," the man continued. "I believe in exchange. If you give me something, I will give you something in return. But if you have nothing to offer, then I have nothing to give you." And with that, he walked away and boarded his train. The beggar stood still. The noise of the station faded. The crowd disappeared. All he could hear were those words: "If you have nothing to give, you have no right to ask." That night, he couldn't sleep. For the first time in his life, he questioned himself. Is this why people don't give me much? Is it because I offer nothing? But what can I give? I'm just a beggar. I have nothing. Or do I? Days passed. He stopped begging, not because he didn't need money, but because he was thinking, deeply thinking. Then one day, something caught his attention. Near the railway tracks, wide flowers were growing, bright, colorful, beautiful. For a moment, he just stared at them. And then, an idea appeared. Simple, yet powerful. What if I give something first? He carefully picked a few flowers and returned to his usual spot. That day, when someone gave him a coin, he did something different. He smiled and offered them a flower in return. At first, people were surprised. But then, they smiled. Some even said thank you. It was a small change, but something incredible began to happen. More people started noticing him. more people started giving. Not out of pity, but because they received something. For the first time, he wasn't just begging, he was giving. Days turned into weeks, and the pattern became clear. When he had flowers, people gave generously. When he didn't, they walked away. That's when he realized something powerful. People don't give because I need, they give because I provide value. This thought changed everything. He was no longer just a beggar. He was a trader. One day, he saw the same businessman again. Excited, he ran toward him. "Sir, today I have something to give." The businessman looked at him, curious. The former beggar held out flowers and said, "If you give me money, I will give you these in return." The businessman smiled. He gave him money and accepted the flowers. Then he said something unforgettable. "Now you are no longer a beggar. You are a businessman." Those words hit deeper than anything else. A businessman. He repeated it in his mind, over and over again. I'm not a beggar, I'm a businessman. Not his clothes, not his surroundings, his thinking, and that changed everything. The decision, leaving the old life. That day, he made a bold decision. He left the railway station, the place where he had spent years begging. He walked away, not as a beggar, but as a man with purpose. The result, 6 months later. 6 months passed. At the same railway station, two well-dressed men met. One looked at the other and felt something familiar. "Do I know you?" he asked. The other smiled. "Yes, we've met before, right here." The man looked closer, and suddenly, his eyes widened. "Wait, you're the beggar." The other man laughed. "Yes, that was me, but not anymore. I now run a successful flower business. I'm traveling to expand it." Final lesson, the truth. The businessman was amazed. "What changed?" he asked. The former beggar smiled. "You did. You taught me something I'll never forget. We only receive when we give. And more importantly, I was never poor. I just didn't see my value." Powerful ending message. Life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you believe you deserve. You will remain weak. If you see yourself as nothing, you will become nothing. But if you recognize your value, if you change your thinking, you can change your entire life. Because success does not start in your hands, it starts in your mind. Call to action. If this story inspired you, like this video, comment, "I will grow," and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Because sometimes one idea can change everything. Zzz.